Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here, and welcome to the 10,000 subscribers special, the Q&A, completely original, that nobody else has ever done here on YouTube. Thank you. So proud. A couple of weeks ago, I asked you guys to leave me some questions based on the fact that we hit 10,000 subscribers. And I asked you to put in the questions, hashtag #AskShady, and then I would answer them. So here we are. And in case you're wondering why I'm standing today, it's because my freaking chair won't stop squeaking. Don't even know if you guys are going to be able to hear that. But yeah, I got a couple of questions here from you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and read them out and answer them. Anthony Sprott asks, do you think rehab will change Bojack? I'd personally like to see Bojack make amends and ask for forgiveness for those his addiction hurt. Do you think Todd, Diane, Mr. Peanut Butter, Hollyhock, Princess Carolyn will instantly forgive him, or won't they? So I think that it's difficult to say because, as most people know, Season 5 to me felt like it went off the rails in order to prove a point. I don't know if Season 6 could head in that direction. It is very possible. I think rehab could change Bojack temporarily. If it does, I would like him to stay on that path and face new difficulties that are on that path. A relapse, to me, would feel kind of lazy. Not that it's impossible, I just think it would feel kind of lazy within the storytelling. If there's going to be a relapse, there really needs to be something building up to the relapse. Because otherwise, it's going to feel like lazy storytelling. People who forgive Bojack instantly, I feel like Todd has already forgiven Bojack. Like, he says that they're not friends, they're just not enemies, but he still acts like his friend. Mr. Peanut Butter is, he's an instant forgiver. Mr. Peanut Butter doesn't even care about anything. Diane's an interesting topic because I don't think Diane really forgives too much. Diane's not really about forgiveness per se. She's more about holding people accountable. So I think she will still treat Bojack, have Bojack in her life. I don't know about forgive. Princess Carolyn, yeah. Princess Carolyn is very easily forgiving of Bojack's faults. Gina, Chelsea, Charlotte, Penny. Penny, I don't know if she has anything to forgive Bojack for. She's more traumatized. Charlotte, no. I don't think Charlotte would ever forgive Bojack. If she did, that would be interesting, but I don't think she would. He basically endangered her child. Chelsea. Crap, I don't know who Chelsea is. Gina, no. I don't think Gina's going to forgive Bojack. Gina's way too cynical to forgive Bojack. There are methods which these characters can go that will make them forgive Bojack, but more often than not, they're not going to forgive Bojack. Certain characters aren't going to forgive Bojack. Who is Chelsea? Why can I not remember her? He said, then there are those who are like Sarah and Herb. Can you make amends to someone who is not living? It all depends on you, because it depends on what you mean by make amends. To some people, make amends means do enough to the point that the person forgives you for your actions. If that person is deceased, they can't forgive you for your actions. To others, it means do enough so that the universe balances out your karma. Like, you've done enough good for the bad that you did in the past. In which case, yes, you can. Even if they are deceased, you can do things that they would have liked. So it all depends on what you personally mean by amends. Kevin L. asks, yo, Shady, who's your favorite voice actor? Can we measure however you want, variety and role, effort and inflection, or maybe just how their voice sounds to you? Alright, so I don't know if I have a top voice actor, but I do have a few that would probably make like the top 5 or the top 10. He's Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, and I think he's also a Mon from Legend of Korra. He has a great villain voice, which he's most famously known for being Spike from Cowboy Bebop, who's more of an anti-hero, but he has a great villain voice. And like, every time I hear his voice in some kind of show, I'm like, yes, that's my dude right there. Kristen Chenoweth, who is Glinda from Wicked. She's also Vanessa Gecko from Bojack Horseman. She has this perfect voice for playing a Mary Sue type character. For playing a character who thinks they're all that, who thinks they're perfect. That's why I loved her in Bojack Horseman as Vanessa Gecko. And freaking Galinda's voice just amazes me every time I hear it. Ron Perlman, that's Slade from Teen Titans. If you've never seen that, he's also the announcer in Fallout 3, the narrator in Fallout 3. Ron Perlman has a great, serious, toned voice. He can play a villain, which he did with Slade, and he can just play a serious mentor. I don't know if I can see him in like a comedic role because his voice just, it looms over you when you hear it. Tara Strong, Timmy Turner, Twilight Sparkle. Tara Strong mostly because when I started learning about voice actors, she was one of the first ones I learned about. The original Batman duo, I want to say Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. Obviously Mark Hamill, the Joker, but those two, they did so well in those one roles that I cannot but definitively see anyone else playing those roles. Like, even though The Dark Knight was really good, like, Mark Hamill's Joker is still, to me, the best Joker. His voice is still the best Joker voice. And the guy who played Batman, I'm saying it's Kevin Conroy, but I might be mistaken on that one. The guy who plays Batman, like, that to me is the definitive Batman. And that could be nostalgia, but, it's my personal opinion. Wolfie asks, would you be offended if I called you Morpheus? Hashtag, what if I told you were great? Not particularly. I mean, there are points where it could get on my nerves, but I don't think so. I mean, it'd probably be more just a meme than anything. What I would get upset at, however, is using the wrong hashtag. Hashtag Ask Shady. Baby Tiger 24 asks, do you think Diane died in the season finale? This is something I've been asked a lot of times about. Like, a lot of people have believe Diane died when she drove in through the tunnel. Apparently it comes from, because they said she was Princess Diana in that one episode, a lot of people, because Princess Diana apparently died in a car crash in a tunnel, a lot of people think it's alluding to that. To me, I don't think that's enough evidence. There wasn't enough allusion that something bad happened to Diane when she went in that tunnel. It would seem really random if it started off in the next season, oh, Diane is dead. Like, I think that would be really random. And I would also be kind of ticked off about that, because it would seem like the show is trying to make people sympathize with Diane more. Mini Yoshi asks, do you have a Patreon? Hashtag Ask Shady. The Patreon. Okay, first of all, let me answer your question. Yes, I do have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/ShadyDoorags. I also do have a PayPal account, which will be in the description of the video. The thing about PayPal, though, is I want to make this note. I'm really bad when it comes to my attention to PayPal. Patreon. I'm really bad about my attention to really just funding me. And the reason is because I'm perfectly happy with anybody giving me money for this stuff. I really am. If you become a patron of mine, I will not only be happy, I will be extremely grateful. The reason I don't advertise it as much as I should, I really should, as somebody who's trying to make this a business, I really should be advertising my Patreon. But the reason I tend not to is because the point of this is not to make money. Yes, I do need to make money off of it so that I can do it more and more, but that's not the point. The point of all this is I want to get the content out to people. So in my mind, I don't think of asking for money before I release something. That's why on my Patreon page, there's really no rewards or anything. It's just a convenient place if people want to give to me monthly. It's just a place, if you want to help me out, if you want to see the channel grow faster, get better faster, then that's a place where you can go to and help me. And I do appreciate it. I certainly appreciate all my patrons that I have right now. But I just don't call attention to that fact because I don't want to sell you my videos. I don't want to exchange it for money. I want people to enjoy the content I have. I don't think there's anything wrong with other people doing stuff like that or even rewards for other people. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not what I'm trying to do with my channel. So I really should get better about advertising my Patreon. It is in the link in all of my videos. It is at the end. I put it in the end of my videos for, I think it's been over a year now since I started doing that. But still, a lot of people don't know I have it because I don't draw any attention to it. And that's really bad on my part. So patreon.com/ShadyDoorags. Oh, we got a Twitter one. This is Behez in. Behez in. What's your favorite color? I have two favorite colors, black and blue. The tint, where are they? I actually have I have some, I don't know if you can see that. These are my D&D dice, black and blue, given to me by a pal at work, and I fell in love with these as soon as I saw them. But yeah, I don't know, like just the smooth colors. You know, a lot of times when I'm doing stuff, I tend to go for a smooth atmosphere, and I think blue and black are like the smoothest colors. I guess cool colors, you know, that's the atmosphere you go for with cool colors, but I don't like purple that much. Purple tends to work with things, but I don't like purple that much. You could make the argument though that purple is a cooler color than blue. Or could you? I don't know. I'm not that educated in art. But yeah, blue and black. I would say if I had to choose a tint, pure black, just straight up pure black, and Sonic the Hedgehog blue. Mini Yoshi again. She asks, do you like how Todd has changed throughout the show, or did you prefer it when he was even more simple, like in the first season? Hashtag Ask Shady. I don't really notice a significant change too much in Todd. Yes, he has changed, but I guess to answer your question specifically, I don't like it, but I don't dislike it. I mean, it's probably better than no change at all. But because Todd has changed in such little fashion, I don't have much of a thought on it, to be honest with you. I admitted this in my top 10 video. Todd's lack of progress to me just makes him less interesting than the other characters. I don't think that's objectively bad for the show. It's just something that I don't really care for. Azel asks, what is your day job? What is your dream job? My day job, currently I have 2 day jobs. One is a forklift driver. I work in warehouses, and primarily I drive forklifts, but I do a bunch of things in warehouses. The other is, this is a job I've just started, is a contractor, captioner, a person who is hired to caption videos via contract. Yeah, I'm a contractor in that regard. I just started it though. Because I just started, it's more just a side job that I do off of my other job. The funny thing is, I do have a bachelor's degree in computer science. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and I tell people at my job, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing driving forklifts?" And it's like, after I graduated college back in 2017, there were opportunities there, but just like personal things happened to where they just didn't work out for me. And we're in 2019 now, and if you go 2 years without getting an entry-level position, it becomes really, really difficult. 3 years, it becomes almost impossible. But the goal for me was never to get it was at one point to get a professional computer science job. The goal for me now, the first step is getting a stay-at-home job, preferably YouTube, a stay-at-home job where I can be responsible for my own time. Because I have a lot of personal projects that I want to work on and possibly make money off of. Basically, your second question, what is your dream job, is I want Shady Doorags Entertainment to be my dream job. And that does not just stick with YouTube. I've said this before in the past. Shady Doorags Entertainment is going to extend past YouTube. YouTube is a good starting place. So I want to keep making videos, but I also want to branch out and do other things. You know, I do have a DeviantArt, and I would like to sell art one day. I would also like to make video games. I've had what's that thing called? I want to say Unity. Whatever that game making engine is called. I've had that on my computer for a while. In college, I used to make games for projects and stuff. And I've had projects stuck in my head for years, but I don't have time to do them. I could, if I wanted to, kill myself and still work on these projects, but I don't want to do that. Like, I tried that at one point where I was working and I was doing projects and I was doing YouTube, and I was so exhausted all the time. And I don't want to kill myself doing that. So the first step is to get a secure stay-at-home job where I'm responsible for my own time, like YouTube. And then once that happens, I can branch out and do other stuff. And you best believe, once we go full-time on this channel, there's going to be a lot more variety on this channel. You know, right now I'm just reviewing shows, primarily Bojack Horseman, but that's not all I want to do at all on YouTube. That's just the stepping stone. I might have to create different channels at that point because people do expect certain things from this channel, but it's not all I want to do. Movie Maker Production 2010's Animation Land. Hashtag Shady. What are your opinions on Emily from Bojack Horseman? I never heard anyone talk about her. She's an overlooked character. I'd love to know. Emily is, I think she's good for the show. I kind of sort of get excited when she comes on because it means potential development for Todd. But other than that, I'm not really too much interested in her character. I don't dislike her character. I think the thing what happened with Bojack, you know, that's something she has a one-up on when it comes to Diane. You know, she did that thing with Bojack, and then she knew it was wrong afterwards. And then afterwards, she came to Todd, and while she didn't directly confess, she said, I think I've hurt you, and I don't think it's right that I call you my friend, which is something Diane couldn't do for some reason. Just thinking in that regard, I do like her more in that regard. However, she is voiced by Bean, who, when I hear Bean's character, for those of you who don't know, the show Disenchantment. I'm currently doing a series analyzing that show, and Bean is such an annoying character. So, but she's still a good one too. Anyway, because she's voiced by Bean, there is that tiny irk whenever she speaks. But other than that, she's just an alright character. Wolfie, if one movie could be in cinema right now, which would you choose? If any movie could be in cinema right now, I would choose a Majora's Mask adaptation. And there's one guy on YouTube who I would put in charge of it. He did this animation of Majora's Mask. It's called Terrible Fate, I think is what it's called. It is so good. It is so good, and it doesn't look like a direct copy of Majora's Mask. Like, adaptations have this problem where if they're too similar, what was the point? You might as well go and watch the old one. But if they're too different, you might as well have made a completely different movie. This guy, he made an original animation. It's so good. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying that, but it is. and it doesn't directly take from the game. Like, I think that would be a great way to do a movie, and I really want to see that. That's my choice now, anyway. If you ask me in like a year or two, I might have a different opinion. But yeah, a Majora's Mask adaptation, and I would put that guy in charge. I'll probably put like a link. I can put one of those eye things up there. Yeah, I'll do that. Mini Yoshi asks, "What's your editing process?" #ask Shady. Editing process. I guess I'll just tell you the whole thing. Basically, I wait for an idea to strike. Well, I don't wait for it because ideas are hitting me all the time. But an idea to strike, sometimes it strikes when I'm watching. Sometimes it strikes when I'm reading your guys' comments. Sometimes it strikes when I'm on Reddit. When an idea I feel passionate about strikes, I write a script. And while I'm writing the script, I research stuff to make sure that what I've said is true. I have, during script writing, found flaws in my argument and have had to change my opinion on things because it was flawed. I'm like, no, this actually doesn't prove it. This proves something completely different. Okay, what's my new theory from here on out? Once I write the script, I record. If it is a video recording process, I then render the footage. If I have to get new footage, I get the new footage and then I render that, And then afterwards, I use Magic's Movie Edit Pro, which I do not recommend. The only reason I use it is because A, is what I'm used to. I do have Premiere right now, but I'm still learning it. And B, it was what I had. Right now I have Premiere, but for the longest time, I only had Magic's Movie Edit Pro. And just several different layers of, if you've ever edited a video before, you probably know the process. Just different layers. You edit different images and stuff like that. I feel like there's more to your question, but I did answer it. A lot of the images I do have to get myself because, if I want a PNG, I have to go and I have to cut it out myself from screenshots and whatnot. I'm still getting used to the idea of vectors. I know they're a thing, but I never use them, and I really should. The only other thing I can say is that I get my sounds from this website. And I make sure to only choose the ones that the creators don't mind using without giving credit. I can't remember what that's called for some reason. As a YouTuber, I should know what that's called. But yeah, that's the only other thing I can think of. I hope I answered your question in its earnest. Behez asks, would you even consider watching any other shows like Bojack Horseman? I would consider, but it would be difficult because A, I don't know any other shows like Bojack Horseman. Yes, there are similar shows that are more mature filled and still have a comedy spin to them, but I wouldn't say any of them are like Bojack Horseman. Bojack Horseman has such a good balance of absurd comedy and realistic cynicism, whereas you watch something like Simpsons, The absurd comedy is the dominating factor, even during the serious moments. It's like, same thing with Futurama. It has a dominating factor of comedy more than it does serious moments. Whereas when you think of Bojack Horseman, you think of both simultaneously, the comedy and the serious moments. That's the thing. Most adult shows, even if they get serious, you usually put forward one or the other. Bojack Horseman has such a good balance, I can't really say there are shows like it. Would I consider watching them? Yes, but it doesn't necessarily mean I can get into them. Mia Anderson, who's your least favorite in Bojack Horseman? Hashtag Ask Shady. I find it really funny that somebody would still ask this question, because I've gone on and on about how I just don't like Diane. But I'm glad you asked this question, because it gives me another excuse to talk about Diane. I know some people came in during certain times, and then they'll hear me talk about Diane, and they'll be like, why is he talking so much about Diane? Just let it, talk about other stuff. What some people don't understand is that the conversation for me with Bojack Horseman started with Diane. If you go back on my channel, the first Bojack Horseman video I ever did was Diane. And even to this day, that's the most popular video. Though to be fair, Sarah Lynn should have passed it by now, but because the channel got deleted, it hasn't. Sarah Lynn got it over 100K in less than a month. But yeah, the Diane video is still a pretty popular topic, and I like to re-inform my audience what's going on with my thoughts to Diane. Right now, for example, I've come to a realization, and I think it was next to somebody in the comments section, that one of the things that takes me out the most about Diane is her lack of empathy. She has sympathy. Some people use those two words synonymously. I don't. To me, sympathy is you feel sorry for someone. Empathy is you understand their position. You can understand somebody's position but not feel sorry for them. For example, somebody could be addicted to something and they fall off the wagon, and you say, well, I understand your addiction, but it's still your fault. I don't feel sorry for you. So in me, my channel's main purpose is to get people to understand different perspectives. And Diane is severely lacking in that. And as a contrast, you have someone like Princess Carolyn, who whenever she's telling people to get better, she comes at them with an empathetic approach. They might have these excuses, and she says, that's not an excuse, because she knows their position. And then she might simmer down and say, okay, I understand it's hard, but, et cetera, et cetera. She generally approaches with empathy, whereas Diane doesn't. Anyway, let's try not to get on too much of a tangent about Diane. But yeah, Diane is definitely my least favorite. I really miss season 1 Diane. When I go back and I watch season 1, she's such a genuine character, season 1 Diane. And that can come across as Mary Sue-ish, but then you get to the episodes like where Diane goes home and you see all the flaws she has with her character. She doesn't feel like a Mary Sue at all. So I still stand by that. What they've done to Diane prior to season 5, what they did to Diane was still the best, at least one of the best routes to go for the show. But I really do miss season 1 Diane. Dog Science asks, why are you so sexy? I don't know if I consider myself sexy. I mean, I guess I could be sexy. I do consider myself attractive, and that's basically because of genetics. I do have well, I'm not white, but I guess it's still a Brad-type body. Whatever the black version of Brad is, I do have that type of body. I am... my dad was an athlete, and my mom was beautiful enough that she was a model for a brief period in her life. So, good genetics, and they brought out me. I have good proportions, really. There are parts of my body that are unattractive, but the attractive parts really distract you from the unattractive parts. I'm 6'7". I've got decent facial hair, and because I'm 6'7", the rest of my body looks the part. Like, my head is actually really big, but because I'm so tall, it looks right. My neck is actually really long, but because I'm so tall, it looks right. So. Again, I would definitely call myself attractive, but I don't know about sexy. I'm really out of shape. I am really out of shape. If I ever took my shirt off, you guys would be like, dude, put that thing away. They're like children here. Yeah. And that's, to me, when I hear the word sexy, I think of mature fitness. That's normally what I think of. For a guy that's like firm, and for a woman that's like skinny with decent curves. That's what I think of when I think of sexy. It could also be because projection. When you find something attractive about somebody, a lot of times you project that onto their other qualities. So you might find something attractive about me, something external like my facial hair, or you might find my personality attractive, or you might find my intelligence attractive. And then you project that onto my body. And that would make you think I'm sexy, even though reality might tell you different. But I do acknowledge that I am an extremely attractive person. That's something I've never denied. I know you're supposed to be humble about stuff, but it gets annoying after a while if you know there's something good about you and you just won't admit it. I admit that I am attractive. I just don't know if I would say sexy because that's my definition of sexy. Wolfie asks, what would you tell them if you could talk to one of the Bojack Horseman characters? I would talk to Diane and I would say, look at yourself. That's pretty much what I would say. There's a lot of things I actually want to say with Diane, but it's like the main thing about Diane is, or I already said, the main thing that upsets me about her. But the main problem with her character, objectively, I think, not objectively, subjectively, the main thing that makes her unlikable is that she has all the tools, all of them, to look at her life and understand what makes her happy, what doesn't make her happy. And she doesn't use them. She, by choice, doesn't use those tools. That's part of the reason why I say Diane chooses to be miserable. I know a lot of people get on my case because it's headcanon in a lot of people's that she has depression. But I'm not talking about feeling happy. I'm not talking about feeling joy. I'm talking about living a happy life. When I say be happy, living a life that you can be thankful for. Diane chooses. She looks at it at moments where she knows it's wrong and she chooses. And that's something that Bojack has a hard time saying. Like, he knew it was wrong at the time. He might have known deep down that it was wrong. But Diane knows on the surface that it's wrong. And she does them. Primarily, there's the part where she lied to Mr. Peanut Butter for, I think it was, 2 months? 6 months? Something like that. She lied to him for a long time. That escapade she went on with Bojack when she was supposed to call Mr. Peanut Butter. And season 5, when she's having an affair. It's like, she 100% knows what she's doing is wrong on every level. Other characters, again, they might know deep down, but they don't know on the surface level most of the time. Sometimes they do. They don't know on the surface level that they're wrong. And they don't all have the tools Diane has to analyze her life. So I would tell Diane to look at yourself, really look at yourself, and just sit down and think about it. What do you need to be happy? Why do you keep sabotaging your own happiness? Because what's happening to you is happening by you. Yoseleklo Yoselak, hope I said that right, asks, your thoughts on animated shows nowadays? They also ask, what are other cartoons that you would like to talk about on your channel? My thoughts on animated shows nowadays is that they're at a really good place. I prefer the late 90s to early to mid 2000s, but that could be nostalgia bias. I grew up during that time. Currently with cartoons, I have lost touch with most modern cartoons because I don't have time to sit down and just watch cartoons. If I'm watching something, I get most of my entertainment from the internet. If I'm watching something, I need to be doing something else at the same time. So the only exception is Bojack Horseman, because I started watching it during a time where I had a lot of time. Same thing with Miraculous. I started watching it when I had a lot of time, so I could just sit down for like 30 minutes and watch. There are certain cartoons I would love to watch nowadays, like DuckTales. I really want to get back into DuckTales, the reboot. I had so much fun when it first came out. I watched the first like 5 to 10 episodes, and it was really good. Gravity Falls, that's not even a modern day cartoon anymore, is it? I guess it technically counts. Depends on your definition of modern. But it was such a good cartoon, and I couldn't get into it because I just didn't have the time. You know, this stuff comes on cable, and when it comes on cable, you have to catch it when it's on. You can't just do it whatever you want, or either you got to have some kind of recording device, or you got to have like Hulu. My primary source of entertainment, other than YouTube, is Netflix. So if it's not on Netflix, it's going to be hard for me to watch. But I would say overall, now that I feel like we're exiting the Teen Titans era. Like I haven't seen as much negativity about that as it could have with the movie. Like, what more can they do, really? What more can they do after the movie? And I don't really hate Teen Titans Go. It's just that it started a really bad trend, and it's good to see other people who are following it giving it backlash. I want more shows like Star versus the Forces of Evil, Steven Universe. And I don't want it saturated. I think that's one of the things that was kind of bad about this era of cartoons. There was a lot of saturation. Gumball was a really good breath of fresh air because it was so different from everything else. With its art style alone, I thought its art style would kill the show because it meant it had no direction, but it used that to its fullest advantage. But I would say cartoons nowadays, it can go either way. They can head downhill or they can head uphill. The last decade has been an interesting sight because we've had some really good cartoons, but we've also had a lot of Teen Titans Go. So, and again, I don't hate Teen Titans Go. I just think it was oversaturated, and I think it did something really bad with cartoons in that regards. Oh, what are the cartoons you would like to talk about on your channel? I forgot about that. Avatar: The Last Airbender. I really want to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender, like desperately. I want to talk about a lot of shows I grew up with. Justice League, the animated series. I actually started talking about Justice League. It was like 2 years ago, and then I couldn't finish. Like, I was going to do weekly reviews on Justice League, but I couldn't finish because at the time I had my job and I had other things I was dealing with, so I had to stop. I want to remake those 2 videos I made, and then continue. I want to review the entire series of Justice League. Both the original and Unlimited. I'm hoping I can do that. And just my old cartoons that I grew up with in general, because they had a lot to offer. You know, Danny Phantom is one that comes to mind. A show I think had just so much to offer and so much to analyze about it. Kim Possible. I really want to talk about Kim Possible. But the thing about all these things is that I have to collect footage, and collecting footage is the most tiresome process that I have. Because my editing software doesn't just accept any type of footage. I have to collect the footage and I have to render it twice. And for example, a 30-minute render could take, an hour and a half to 2 hours? Probably 3 hours is possible. Rendering takes forever. And even when I render it, sometimes, most of the time, if I use more than one file, it gets upset. It starts lagging as I'm editing, so it slows me down while editing. Because I already have like Bojack Horseman footage captured, I can make more Bojack Horseman videos. But other cartoons, like if I think I have to capture a lot of footage, which for something like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm going to have to capture like the entire series. I think I just need I need to get used to Premiere, and I need a better capturing system. Wolfie asks, can you do an episode about Futurama? #AskShady. Why haven't I done an episode about Futurama? I mean, it's on it's on Netflix. Like, I could do it. I don't know about the show as a whole, but yeah, there are certain episodes I could easily talk about, and there's a lot of source. I don't know why I haven't done that. Huh. Ansel asks, how old are you? I am 27, last I checked. I am a millennial. We're entering our 30s now. Some of us are already in our 30s. Jonathan Vasquez asks, hey Shady, you've done so much analysis and prediction videos on Bojack Horseman. Can you imagine yourself working on that show, crafting its story and characters? If so, would you want to if given the chance? I cannot see myself working on Bojack Horseman. If I was to work anything on Bojack Horseman, it would probably be a guest voice. And the only reason I would think that they would do that is because right now I would argue I'm one of the most talked about people on YouTube when it comes to Bojack Horseman. That's because I was one of the first people. I shouldn't even say one of the first. It's just at the time nobody was talking about it, and everybody wanted to hear about it. So when I came out with my video, there wasn't much competition. I think the only person was Mysterious Mr. Enter. He had made a video a couple of years back, and that one channel, I want to say Screen Rant and Wisecrack had talked about it, but again, like other than those two, there wasn't a lot of people talking about Bojack Horseman. So the only thing I can think of is they would put me as a guest voice, because it would probably be really cool to a lot of people to hear a voice of someone they know coming from coming from the mouth of one of the characters. I know that's a bit of an ego rub. Yeah, I'm such a big deal that you guys would love to hear my voice coming from a Bojack Horseman character. I don't know about writing for the show, because while I am good at analyzing literature, writing is different than analyzing. Not to say you can't be both, but it's different. You realize that there are writers who can't analyze and analyzers who can't write. So I think I could, if given the chance. Would I? Yeah, because that would be a lot of... I'd say that'd be a lot of money for short time work. If I had to move out to like California or something, I don't know where Bojack Horseman takes place, but if I had to move out to wherever they deal with it, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I could use the finances right now, but that's not something I would want to do for a show like that. If I was writing for a show, I would want to be in charge. And in today's day and age, you can easily make a show on your own as long as you have your own time to do it. You can easily just put it out on YouTube if you want. So, yeah, with that question, shamelessly, that one would be more about money, because it's not something I want to do. I enjoy analyzing. Writing, I do enjoy. I love writing. I do. It's just I don't know if I would want to write for someone else's story. Mini Yoshi asks, what's your first impression of Bojack Horseman and when did you get hooked? #AskShady. My first impression of Bojack Horseman. The first time I saw it was, I didn't see the show, I saw the advertisement for season 1. And I thought, oh, a Family Guy ripoff. That's that's what I thought. All adult shows were very similar at the time, where they just had raunchy humor. I did not like raunchy humor. I still don't like raunchy humor that much, but if something had raunchy humor, like, I didn't even really give it a chance. Same thing with swearing. A lot of times back in the day, I just didn't give things with swearing a chance. I was very friendly. I still am a very family-friendly person. It's just nowadays I can see quality in content that isn't as family-friendly. But my first... what got me to watch it was the Mysterious Mr. Inner review. Mysterious Mr. Inner, he did the review on the Telescope, and he said once he got through the first season, he was really hooked. And Mysterious Mr. Inner, while I don't agree with him on anything, on everything, well, I don't agree with him on everything. He shows that he really does care about the animation genre. So even if he's completely wrong about everything, the fact that he's willing to say, I didn't want to give this a chance, I did, and by the first season, I thought it was really good. That's when I was like, okay, I can give it a shot at least. So I did that. First 3 episodes I did not like. I have a 3-episode rule where I watch the first 3 episodes, and if I don't like it, I just stop. But Enner said he got through the first season, and that's when he realized it was good. Well, it was sometime during the first season. So I said, okay, I will watch the first season. I'll keep going and I'll watch the whole first season. If I don't like anything in the first season, then I'm done. I'm not going to watch anymore. It was the next episode 4, was when I got hooked with Todd's rock band, because I did not see the ending coming. Like, I thought Bojack was going to sabotage the rock opera, but they did it in such a clever way where he made Todd think he did it. Like, I was like, I did not see that ending coming. And from that point on, I was hooked. From every episode, I anticipated a good one. Now, I want to say, there was like one episode I didn't really like, and that was Brat Brat Pew Pew. I didn't like that episode. But other than that, like, every episode, like, just blew my expectations out of the water, especially in season 4. But yeah, I've been hooked since episode 4, and you can thank the Mysterious Mr. Enter for that. I know he has a lot of haters out there. I've actually had some people come to my channel and say, hey, you shouldn't be a fan of Mysterious Mr. Enter. I think he'll make your content quality go down. And I'm like, I wouldn't even be making Bojack Horseman videos if it wasn't for Mysterious Mr. Enter. So, John Day Everyday asks, what is the hardest thing about doing YouTube? Please elaborate. Love your content. Thumbs up. The hardest... Okay, now, I've been waiting forever to do a Q&A. I've been waiting forever to do a Q&A. And with this Q&A, I knew somebody was going to ask me this question. And I have prepared the answer. The hardest thing is your audience. Getting an audience, even if you do everything right, it's up to them on whether or not they stick around, whether or not they share. It's up to them. It's basically luck-based, gaining an audience. And even if you gain an audience, you can lose it. I know people who, they make good content, but because they didn't keep their audience's attention, they lost their audience. That was what I was going to say. For years, I had planned to say that. However, it is obvious now, the hardest thing about being a YouTube is dealing with YouTube themselves. YouTube, oh my goodness. Okay, let me preface this. There's actually a rule on YouTube that you're not allowed to tell people to leave YouTube. You're not allowed to encourage them to do that. You could get kicked off. I'm not trying to do that at all. I've never tried to do that. I've always tried to encourage YouTube to get better. So that's why when people say there needs to be another competition site, I agree with that. Not because I want people to leave YouTube, but because I want YouTube to be forced to improve. YouTube, you can do everything right, and YouTube can take it all away from you. And you all know, my channel got deleted last September. That infuriated me. Like, okay, so let me just get it out of my system. You know, last year my channel was slowly growing. You know, I was slowly snowballing. Then September came around, and I released the Sarah Lynn video, and my channel blew up. It got huge. Well, it didn't get huge, but I was bringing in a whole mess of subscribers. A whole mess of subscribers and views. I was bringing a lot of attention to my channel. And I was looking at it like, I could actually start doing this full time sometime next year. Like probably early sometime next year. Early to 2019. And I saw the views, the profits, the subs go up, and I'm so happy with myself. I'm like, yes, my YouTube plan worked, you know? How I was releasing videos and whatnot. It worked. I'm getting attention. And, you know, the dopamine's just rushing in, and I'm congratulating myself. I'm at work, and I get a freaking email telling me my channel's been deleted. And I can smile about it now, but goodness gracious, I couldn't believe it. And I went through so many different channels. You guys know, I put it in that one video. I went through so many different channels, and nobody was contacting me in a proper way. Nobody was telling me what was going on. And I just struggled for 2 months. YouTube had taken away a bunch of stuff that I needed. Like, when they cut you off like that takes away your momentum. Like, I had such good momentum then. I was growing at such a decent rate. And, you know, I don't do this for the views and the money, but like I always say, I don't do this for the views and the money, but they help. If I had them, I could do it full time. And YouTube cut me off. They basically cut off my momentum. And when they do that, when they delete your channel, you don't get the money. So at the time, I really need the money that YouTube owed me. And I'm still dealing with the monetary backlash from it. Like, things in my life would be a lot better if YouTube had not deleted my channel right then. And they gave it back, right? And I'm like, yes, this is all I need. I just need my channel back, and I can fix what YouTube broke. Turns out, no, they didn't give me my whole channel back, because my videos for the longest time, or not for the longest time, but for 2 months, my videos in the videos tab would not appear. So people would come to my channel, but they wouldn't stay. Like, I know personally, I've gone to people's channels, I've seen a good video, and I'll look at their other videos and say, what other content do they have to offer before I decide to subscribe? So I can imagine people doing that on my channel, seeing almost no videos in the videos tab and being like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll try subscribing later. Maybe I'll come back and visit later. And right now, it's better. They've got a lot of videos on there, but they still don't have all of them. Last I checked, they do not have all of them. Specifically, my most popular videos, the Sarah Lynn video's not on there, the Diane video's not on there. Constantly dealing with YouTube. PewDiePie put out a video the other day and was like, yeah, YouTube's getting better. And I'm like, I can't tell. People are getting demonetized left and right. I'm so scared of getting demonetized. I really hope that's not going to happen. And the thing is, I still don't know why they did it. I still don't know why. Like, I can be suspectful because I made, right before they did it, I made a video where I said not the nicest things about feminism. And the only reason I did it is because the episode was about feminism. So I can guess, but even still, I don't know. It could have been false flagging. It could have been somebody on YouTube just didn't like me. It could have been an honest mistake. And they honestly spent 2 months trying to fix it. They don't tell me. They don't communicate with you. So the hardest part about being a YouTuber is dealing with YouTube itself, the site, the company. And I told people the other day, like, as people say, well, YouTube is not the planet. YouTube isn't the planet. If YouTube left the Earth would survive. But it has a bigger impact on the planet than people realize. I know that seems very egotistical and like I'm only looking at it from my perspective. But I've seen how YouTube has affected people who don't primarily do YouTube. Like that's why news people are coming to YouTube. That's why political people are coming to YouTube, because it has a big effect, especially on my generation. And so, yeah, just dealing. Let's stick to the answer to the question. The hardest thing about doing YouTube is dealing with YouTube. And even if they hadn't deleted my channel, like we've been doing stuff like this for a while. The copyright thing, that's bad. I'm still dealing with that, because when my videos pop back up, they re-popped up in people's algorithm bots that search for their content. So now I've got a bunch of videos that are copyright claimed that I've already had to fight. YouTube as a platform should be making it easier for creators to use their platform. Like, that's what their job is. They think they're entertainers for some reason. YouTube is not entertainers. The users are the entertainers. The YouTube is the platform to host it. They are programmers. They need to be programming. And I get so upset because I say I care about YouTube. When I say that, I mean I care about the site and I care about the people, like the community of YouTube. I don't care about... The company upsets me to no end. But if the company dies, the site dies. And millions, billions of users just don't have the site anymore. So it's like, I'm like, guys, focus on the site. Make it a place for users to use. And it's also clear of how it happened. The people who own YouTube now didn't own it when it got big. They saw it was big, they bought it, and they immediately just corporized it. All the decisions they've been making, I shouldn't say all, but like 80% of the decisions they're making have been bad. Right now, they're trying to get rid of the dislike button. Like, why? Because YouTube Rewind did horrible? Like, no, the dislike button is needed. I need to know when I do something bad in my videos, when my videos are disproved by others. It helps me grow as a creator. Yes, okay, I've gone on about that long enough. The hardest thing about being a YouTuber is dealing with YouTube. Let's move on. Mr. Hard to Pronounce name. When and how do you think Bojack Horseman will end? I used to think Bojack Horseman would end with the death of Mr. Peanut Butter. I'm not so sure about that now. Because they've... it's still possible, because he does seem to be heading down a bad route. But I'm honestly not so sure where it's going now, because again, season 5 to me felt like it took a left turn, and it felt like it did it inorganically. So in all honesty, it could end in a bunch of different ways. I like the theory of the why the long face joke. I would really love it if they did that at least once in this series. But imagine if they combined the two like most famous theories, like Mr. Peanut Butter's life ending, and then Bojack walks into a bar and the bartender says, "Why the long face?" Like, I think that would be a very iconic ending for it. It could also be interesting if during that time Bojack is actually happy, like everything about his life is good, and then the thing with Mr. Peanut Butter happens. Tara has asked, "What made you start watching Miraculous Ladybug?" Miraculous Ladybug. That is an interesting topic on the channel. What made me start watching it was back when I first started watching My Little Pony. Miraculous Ladybug was big. It was almost as big as My Little Pony. Like, it was pretty much everywhere. The fandom has since simmered down to like where it seems to be almost a cult following, but it's just really small. Like, it's not that big. But I was interested in it when I saw it. It's superheroes. I love superhero stuff. And well, the funny thing is, it actually heavily references Spider-Man a lot. Finally, I started watching it when it came out on Netflix. And I was like, oh, well, I have access to it now. I can watch it. And at the time, I was moving to a new place for a new job, and I couldn't make a whole lot of content. I was trying to find really quick content to make. And I said, well, I've always wanted to do something like Doug Walker's Avatar videos thing, where he watches a show he's never seen, and he just talks about the episodes. And I said, well, I've always wanted to do that, and I've always wanted to see Miraculous Ladybug, so I'll just combine the two, and I'll do that. And it was supposed to just be me in front of a camera talking, but I have such a hard time just doing simple projects like that. So I was like, I gotta make this interesting. I don't want to put footage, but I'll put images. They might forget which episode I'm on if they just glance at the video. They might not understand exactly how I'm feeling. So I put all that stuff in there. And, the videos are still pretty quick to make in comparison to my other videos. But, they take a lot longer now because I decided to do that. But, yeah, that was pretty much it. I've always been curious about it. I didn't watch it initially because I thought it was going to be focusing way too much on Cat Noir and Ladybug's relationship. And I felt like it was going to be inorganic, which kind of sort of that was the case. And I thought people were just saying it was good because of the relationship thing. Because all the fan art I saw was shipping Ladybug and Cat Noir. And I was like, well, there's so many things that people say is good just because it has a good ship. And I'm like, I suspected this was going to be it. And again, that kind of was the case. But what just made me start watching it was that it just appeared on Netflix. And I was like, I got time. I need a new project I have to do. Yeah, let's do it. Transmission Rory asks, your thoughts on other Netflix cartoons like F is for Family, Castlevania, and Big Mouth. I have never seen them. And some of them I don't really plan on watching. Again, I'm not that much into cartoons nowadays. I have a lot of things I have to do. If I get more free time, sure, just on a lazy afternoon, I'll sit down and I'll watch a cartoon. Bojack Horseman, when I watched it, I had the time to watch it. And then I got hooked. When I get hooked on something, yeah, I'll binge the mess out of it. But if it's something that doesn't look like it's for me, or something that doesn't look like it's not going to be good, I already hesitate to watch shows that I might not like. Like She-Ra. I was actually interested in She-Ra. But then I saw some of it and I was like, okay, I don't want to dedicate my time to watching that when I could be doing something else. That's the thing, I could be doing something else. And even if I just sit down and chill and watch YouTube videos, like I'm at least learning about my own craft because I'm a YouTuber. So yeah, I don't watch a lot of cartoons, and like Big Mouth looks horrible. I don't want to see Big Mouth. F is for Family, maybe. Castlevania looks good. Castlevania does look good. I don't know if I can get myself to watch it. I first started doing this actually when the DC series, a bunch of them started coming out on, it was DC and Marvel superhero series. They started coming out on Netflix. Everybody was telling me, you would love these. You love superheroes. You would love these. You would watch them. And I wanted to, but I just didn't. I was too busy for some reason. Yeah, dedicating myself to watching stuff like that, I have a hard time doing right now because I feel like there's a lot going on in my life right now. Like Crow asks, have you seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? And if you have, what's your opinion? Hashtag Ask Shady. I have not seen it. I want to see it. It looks really good. The director said some things that made me iffy, but people have been giving it nothing but praise. It started memes of just drawing people with different spider personas. So it looks really good. I really want to see it. I was thinking about seeing it this weekend, but again, it's just not the best time. I might just have to wait for it to come out on Netflix or something. Game Rant asks, hashtag Ask Shady, what is your favorite cartoon, and would you consider doing reviews on some new cartoons like Hazbin Hotel, Amphibia, The Owl House when they come out? Those other ones, no, I wouldn't because I don't know what they are. For me with cartoons, it has to be something I think is going to be good before I'll even look at it. Like I thought Disenchantment was going to be really good. Like not just from who created it, but the trailer was really good. The trailer made it look like it was going to be hilarious. But the only reason I'm doing a recap on it now is because I think it teaches a very toxic lesson that needs to be addressed. With those shows, I've never heard of them. If I see them and I like them, I'll consider doing a review on them. But otherwise, it's going to be It's going to be difficult to stray away from what I'm currently doing right now, because, like I said, capturing footage is a hassle. Once I go full time, yeah, I'll have a lot of time on my hands. I can do stuff like that. But your first question, what is your favorite cartoon? Avatar: The Last Airbender. Easily Avatar: The Last Airbender. I would say a close second might be Justice League Unlimited. But Avatar: The Last Airbender is definitely my favorite. Quacks asks, what lies behind those shades? Hashtag Ask Shady. A Doorag. Xander McFetters asks, do you think we'll see Bojack's father get a similar treatment to his mother? I'd like to see him develop further. No, I don't think we will, because Bojack's primary problem was with his mother. He put more of the pressure on his mother than he did his father. Yes, his father did have some effect on him, but it was mainly his mother, because in a lot of family relationships, the father, while they do care about the kid, they are not as loving as the mother. The mother is nature expects the mother to love the child. Like nature has put in most females' brains that when they have a child, they love it. They can resist it. Everybody's different. They could just simply not have it. But that's what a mother is supposed to do. They are supposed to show affection for the child they give birth to. Beatrice didn't. She, as the person who was supposed to show Bojack affection, she didn't show him. And in fact, she detested him. She thought he was a waste of existence. So that has a much heavier hit than on a father figure. Most fathers, what nature wants most fathers to do is provide. It wants mothers to care and it wants fathers to provide. So yeah, while Bojack's father does have an impact on him, it wasn't as big as impact as Beatrice, so I don't think we'll be seeing him get the same treatment. Nick Taz Universe asks, what are your thoughts on Deltarune? If you do not know what Deltarune is, then what was your first thought after something like a Google search? Let me look it up. Oh, that's Deltarune? I thought that was Undertale. When I saw images of that, I thought it was Undertale. What is that? Like, I've seen this before, and when I saw it, I thought it was either Undertale or I thought it was like a fanfic of Undertale. I don't know, there's even some things about people, or specifically MatPat, linking Deltarune to Undertale. Is it related to Undertale? It's got similar font and stuff and similar graphics. Let me look at the Wikipedia. A role-playing video game created by an American indie developer, Toby Fox. The player controls a human, Chris, in a world where monsters live on the... that sounds like Undertale. Surface of the earth. Yeah, that sounds like Undertale, except not the surface of the earth. Undertale was beneath the earth. Is this by the same guy? It says Toby Fox. Oh, it's part of the Undertale series? Oh, okay. I didn't know Undertale was a series. I thought it was just one game. I haven't played Undertale. I just know about it. So that's interesting. E. Ortez asks, what was your favorite cartoon show as a child? How does it compare to your favorite show now? When and why did you become so passionate about this? #AskShady. Okay, I did say that Avatar: Last Airbender was my favorite cartoon. I did want to kind of go into a bit more detail about it, though. Avatar: The Last Airbender, to me, is what I consider top tier cartoons. What I like about it is, what I appreciate about it most now is the character, but I love everything about it. I love the characters, I love the story, I love the action. The action is what hooked me in. I love the pacing. My personal favorite is book 2, like all of book 2, just everything in that to me feels so perfect. When and why did you become so passionate about this? I first started watching Avatar when it first came out, because it said, oh, hey, it's people who can control elements. When I was a kid, I created a superhero who looked a lot like Spider-Man, and he could control water. I think that's one of the coolest powers you can get, is to control water. So I really wanted to see people who could accurately do it, because Hydro Man from Spider-Man always sucked at it. So they did it, but the first season was kind of slow-paced. There weren't that many waterbenders, and Katara was still learning how to waterbend. So I stopped watching it for a little bit. Then I turned it on, and it was the fight between Katara and Paku, which is one of my most hated episodes. I really can't stand that episode. But at the same time, that's what I wanted to see. Waterbenders fighting each other in really interesting ways. So I started watching it again after that, and I was hooked. Avatar: The Last Airbender has been my favorite show for the last 15 years at least. I have to say, I think it was the last 15 years. And I've loved it so much. When Nickelodeon used to marathon, not Nickelodeon, Nicktoons, whatever that Nicktoons network is, they used to marathon it. And as much as Cartoon Network marathon Teen Titans Go, probably more. And I would just leave it on. I would just leave it on while I was doing other stuff. And to the point where I would memorize certain lines and certain scenes and whatnot. Like, I love that show. And I have not seen a show yet that could top it in that regard. Xander McFetters asks, do you think Diane will begin to change in the next season? I see the potential of her attempting to self-improve and actively trying to address her flaws. I don't know, because every season she's had a chance to improve. Well, except season 1, like you really couldn't improve that character. Again, she was flawed, but she was flawed in a way that everybody was accepting that she was more grounded than everyone else. But with season 2 is where she fell. And season 3 was where she should have gone back up, but she dipped back down. And then season 4, again, she was rising in season 4. Like, Diane was being very patient with Mr. Peanut Butter in season 4. And I was appreciating stuff like that. But I still feel like she fell. In season 5, season 5, just... Yeah, I've already discussed it in my video. It's hard to say where Bojack Horseman is going to go at this point, because with season 5, I don't feel it's organic. But if I'm looking at it for what it is, I would say there is a chance, but she has to first realize she needs to. I think the words of her boss, whose name I can't remember, I want to say Stephanie, but I'm not sure what that's it. Whoever, Stilton, her boss, I think those words might have done something to her. I think that's why they had her say that at the end of the season. That's another reason I think Diane's arc was kind of poor in season 5. Like, that realization came just instantly in season. Like, it should have been more of a build up to it than it was. It's like, oh, hey, you hold people to too high of a standard. It's like, oh, somebody just told her the answer. Okay, could she not have realized that or something? Like, but it'll be interesting because you can see that I'm saying it'll be interesting with season 6 because they're going into video, and that's what I was talking about before, where they might get like a YouTuber to guest voice something. So I think they're actually going to go into social media a bit more, like they did with Twitter. So I think they're going to go into YouTube now. I think a lot of their fan base is in YouTube, but I can't say for sure. I can only look at my metrics and say, hey, there's a lot of people watching Bojack Horseman stuff. But that'll be interesting to see and see how Diane handles it. Because Diane's going to have to handle criticism if they're going to do the social media route. Because they did say she's going to do video. And unlike Twitter, YouTube's not the friendliest place. I mean, Twitter's not the friendliest place either. But Twitter is way more harsh about censoring that stuff. YouTube's going the Twitter route, but it's still not there yet. And if she gets on Reddit, whoo! Baby Tiger 24 asks, do you have pets? Do you have or like pets? Excuse me. No, I do not have pets. I do like pets. There are lots of animals that I like. I had a bunch of pets growing up. I had goldfish, I had a guinea pig, I had a cat, I had a dog. I'm more of a cat person, but just by a little bit. I still love dogs. The only reason I prefer cats is because cats don't require as much attention. Like, dogs really want to be around you all the time. Cats do want to be around you, but then they get tired of you. Jack Damien asks, you have a very consistent look of shades and a do-rag to the point you are never seen without the two, and your channel is named after them. How did you develop this look? What influenced it, and why do you like it so much? Genuinely curious because it looks great. Hashtag Ask Shady. Your last sentence, that's why. It looks great. The first time I wore shades and do-rags, it was back when I was in, there's three main reasons why I wear it now. The first reason is because it looks great. The first time I wore it was back in high school when I was in a Christian rap group. It was called Following Biblical Instructions, or FBI. And we wore, like, all black attire. We wore tall tees, black pants, like, a black cap, black do-rags, black shades, and black shoes. Like, everything was black. And it looked amazing. If I can find a picture of it, I'll post it up. But it looked amazing. And everybody told me all the time I looked good in that stuff. And I agreed with them. Like, I was like, this is a really good look. So after I got to college, I couldn't do it in high school because they don't let you wear that kind of stuff in high school. After I got to college, not even after, but like in high school, I did it outside of school. But after I got to college, I wore a do-rag and shades all the time. And even now, it's my attire of choice. The other reason that it's here on the channel, I wear it here on the channel, is because on my old video, on my old persona I used to be called Random Person. And as Random Person, I had a reputation of not telling people who I was, what I looked like, etc., etc. So I wanted to make a YouTube channel, and I wanted to be on the channel. I didn't want to just talk. So I came up with this disguise where I wore, it started off with just a mask and a jacket. But the problem was, people could see my neck, so I added a scarf. People could still see my hair, so I added do-rags. People couldn't see my eyes, which added the uncanny valley, so I added shades. And then I also added gloves so they couldn't see my hands. That's where my avatar comes from. If you've ever seen a Random Person, the grayed out thing, that's where he comes from. He came from that channel. I call him RP now. But yeah, when I switched over to a different persona, I I took off everything but the shades and the Doorags. And the reason I kept these is for the third reason. I have trouble looking people in the eye when I talk to them, and that includes a camera. I tend to look away like you'll see me do this all the time. If you're wearing shades, it's less noticeable. Those are some of the most reasons, but I would say the biggest reason is just because it looks good. It does look good on my person. There's also one other reason I keep it around, and that's because of irony's sake. If you come to a channel, you see somebody like me wearing shades and Doorags, you tend to think like some of the stereotypical black roles, like a gangster or something like that. And then you'll see something like a Marvel shirt. You'll be like, okay, he's a bit nerdy. And then you'll see me on here talking about Bojack Horseman and the literature aspects of it. And it's like, what? And then you'll see me say, oh, and also, I watch My Little Pony, Miraculous, and it's irony. It's like, because one of the things like screen, what are they? I keep wanting to call them screen rant. It's not screen rant. It's a Wisecrack. Wisecrack has something like this. It was called Thug Notes, where a guy in a do-rag would talk about literature, and it was to help people understand some more, I would say, not more complicated, but just something that you wouldn't expect a gangster to be talking about. If you have a gangster like that talking about it, it brings an interesting perspective on it. And that's something, again, I really want to do, is bring interesting perspectives. I think people can learn interesting things when taught that way. I used to learn so much stuff from songs. Schoolhouse Rock. I freaking love Schoolhouse Rock. I know the Constitution because of Schoolhouse Rock, and I think it helps people learn. It helps people see the point more when it comes from a perspective like this. There's nothing wrong with the stereotypical nerdy look, but in regards of helping people get the point and entertaining them, this is a very good look to have. Okay, the name's not showing up for me right now, but this person wrote, I really like Bojack in cartoons like Disenchantment, Rick and Morty, Gravity Falls, and Bob's Burgers. The puns. Because the wordplay and the hidden complexities, do you know of similar shows that I might like? Oh, there was one show. I don't remember what it's called. I will look it up and I will put it on. There was this one show, I actually hated the show as a kid. But now that I'm a dog and I can handle a bit more raunchy humor, I might check it out later. It's funny because some people actually wanted me to... I Googled some stuff and some people were actually talking about me. They were like, Shady Doorags he has the Bojack Horseman fan base. If we can get him to talk about this show, maybe he can put some people... I never saw any one of them ask me to review this show, but I found that comment. I'm like, oh yeah, that is a show that happened. I've never seen it, but I've heard people talk about it. So you can give it a try if you like. Like I said, when I was a kid, I've seen commercials of it and I hated it. I absolutely hated the show, but maybe it's worth a try. Joseph Benjamin Vargas Antero asks, will you ever talk about Rick and Morty? Many great characters to talk about. Would love to. Don't have access to it. I've never seen a single episode of Rick and Morty, and I'm so upset because I've seen clips of it, and it looks great. It's funny. It's got decent moral lessons. Like it looks fantastic. People say there's a staunch difference in the fan base of BoJack Horseman and Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty tend to be in your face, while BoJack Horseman tends to be a bit more laid back about the content. Whatever. I don't really care that much about that. I just want to see the show. The show looks great, and I really want to see it. Mr. Hard to Pronounce Name asks, #Shady, do you want to do analysis with movies? Yes, I do. Ansel asks, did you think you get as many questions as you did? Difficult to say. I knew 10,000 subscribers would be the best time to do something like this because there's enough people there that at least someone will ask questions. Really, I just need like 10 to make a decent video. I've always wanted to do Q&As, but if you don't have enough people to do it, people who are interested in doing it, then it's like it becomes a bit of an embarrassment. So I figured with 10,000 people, there should be enough people that I get at least 10 questions. I got well more than that, so, I think it all turned out for the better. And that appears to be all the questions that I got. I hope I was able to answer everything in a way that makes everything good. That was a horrible sentence. Let me know if you guys like me doing something like this. I thought it was pretty fun. It is something I would like to do every once in a while. I just mainly want to stay communicating with you guys. Make sure you guys understand that this is a conversation. The whole point of this channel is to get different perspectives, as I've said over and over in this video alone, to get different perspectives. It's kind of like a book club, really, where we all watch this. We all, instead of reading the same book, we all watch the same show, and then we all come together and we talk about our perspectives on it. So I hope you guys got something out of this. I thought it was pretty fun, and I thought it was something pretty different to do. I really want to try different stuff for 2019. Try to get different things out there. Some of these shows you guys asked me about, I would love to check them out. I don't know if I'll be able to, because again, the footage capturing thing is such a hassle. But I would love to go that approach. If we can go full-time 2019, that would be lovely. That would absolutely be lovely. And before I head out, I want to ask you guys some questions. So, A, what was the first video of mine that you saw? You know, what kind of got you into the channel? B, what's your favorite video of mine? Thank you guys so much for participating in this. It was a lot of fun. And the schedule for the future is going to be a bit iffy. If you guys haven't seen the post I put out, my schedule is all over the place. I might still be able to do it like normal, you know, the weekly videos. Or it might go a week without a video. Or I might go a week putting more than one video, etc., etc. It's just all over the place right now. But, yeah. I will see you guys later. And once again, thanks for stopping by. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, ad Vita say.